Have you ever looked around and noticed that everyone around you seems to be getting ahead in life fast? A friend of yours quit their job and found a better one in just 48 hours. Someone else decided to find love and met their perfect partner a week later. Or there's that friend who never knew what they wanted, the one everyone used to laugh about for being so clueless. And when you bumped into them 2 weeks ago, not only have they discovered their passion, they've created a startup that's already making 7 figures. If the question that pops into your head is, why them and not me? You're in exactly the right place. I'm Sia, and on this channel we talk about how to live your best life, even when you don't know where to start. No complicated theories, just honest conversations about the real challenges we all face. So if you want to discover what's holding you back from getting the life you want, stick around. Let's talk about comparison. It's interesting how our minds can mislead us. We scroll through social media and see people leading perfect lives. New houses, cars, boats, big weddings, vacation reels, and exotic places. It creates this illusion that everyone else has it figured out. But what if what we're seeing is just the tip of the iceberg? That friend who suddenly landed their dream job? They probably sent out hundreds of applications, faced rejection after rejection, and spent countless nights and days contacting everyone they could think of. But they didn't post about any of that, did they? I noticed this in my own life. People would comment about how lucky I was, about certain things I did, certain achievements. But I worked hard to become lucky, very hard, exhaustingly hard. And while it may seem, as you look around, that people succeed overnight, that's rarely the way things work. What looks like a sudden breakthrough is usually the result of consistent effort. Effort that happened behind closed doors, where nobody was watching. My friend who quit their job and found a new one 48 hours later, she'd been contacting recruiters for months. And the clueless classmate who created a startup, he didn't do that overnight. Everyone's path is different. The timeline that worked for your friend isn't necessarily the right timeline for you. Comparing your chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 100 is always going to make you feel behind. It's an impossible comparison that will always leave us feeling behind. But in reality, we're not behind. We're just moving forward on our own timeline. And that's fine. We all make excuses. I certainly have. They succeeded because they had rich parents. They went to a better school. They're just naturally talented. They got lucky. Does this sound familiar? The problem with excuses is that even when they contain truth, they don't help you move forward. Yes, privilege exists. Some people do start with a silver spoon or a gold spoon in their mouth. But focusing on what others have is only holding us back. For every person who succeeded because of advantages, there's another who succeeded despite having none. The real danger of making excuses is that it robs us of our power. When we blame external circumstances, we're essentially saying, I have no control here. We're focusing our energy on what we can't control instead of what we can control. We let circumstances become excuses, and then excuses become barriers to our getting ahead. It's like refusing to play a game because someone else got a better starting position. And if you don't have a famous parent who can help you, no amount of moaning about it will change that. We all have circumstances we can't control, but focusing on those instead of what we can control is blocking our paths forward, and it will keep us from the life we want. Let's talk about magical thinking. Many of us share this belief that one day we'll suddenly feel ready, that the stars will align, inspiration will strike, and everything will fall into place. Magically. I'll start my business when I feel more confident. I'll move to Rome when I've learned perfect Italian. I'll pursue my passion when I have more time. Here's what I learned the hard way. Readiness is a myth. The universe doesn't wait for you to feel prepared. That feeling of being not quite ready yet, it never completely goes away, even for people who appear wildly successful. This kind of magical thinking is especially dangerous because it feels responsible. adult. It seems like you're being prudent, waiting until conditions are right. But in reality, it's often just fear wearing a clever disguise. The people who seem to be getting ahead, they're scared too. The difference is they don't use those feelings as a signal to stop or wait. They recognize them as normal parts of growth and keep moving forward. I've never felt completely ready for anything important I've ever done. Not moving to Europe, not working in film, not starting this channel. But I did those things despite not being ready. And that made all the difference. What's strange about this is you become ready by doing the thing you don't feel you're ready for. Now tell me if that makes sense. And now let's talk about something that's difficult to admit. Sometimes we just don't want something enough. Sometimes we don't want our goals badly enough to make the necessary sacrifices. We say we want to save money, but then we buy things we don't need whenever we feel down. We say we want to start a side business, but we're not willing to give up our weekend leisure time. We say we want to get in shape, but we're not willing to work out because it's boring. We want the results without the discomfort that comes with change. But that's not how life works. Every significant change requires trade-offs. Every success story involves giving up something for something better. The people who seem to be racing ahead, they're making sacrifices you might not see. They're saying no to immediate pleasures for long-term gains. They're doing uncomfortable things consistently because they've decided their goals matter more than momentary comfort and pleasure. Success rarely requires dramatic, heroic sacrifices. Don't get me wrong. More often, it's about small, daily choices that nobody else notices. Working on your side project instead of scrolling through social media. Cooking at home instead of ordering out. So you can put that money towards furthering your goals. Ask yourself honestly, are you willing to sacrifice now for something better later? Because if the answer is no, that's okay. But then don't be surprised when others move ahead and you don't. So we've talked about comparison, excuses, magical thinking, and half-hearted commitment. Now let's get to the heart of the matter. The who that's holding you back. You probably already guessed it. It's you. It's me. It's all of us. Now I know that might sound harsh, but I find it incredibly freeing, hopeful. Because if you're the one holding yourself back, you're also the one who can set yourself free. Taking ownership doesn't mean blaming yourself for every circumstance in your life. It simply means acknowledging that you have the power to respond to those circumstances differently. This shift in mindset changed everything for me. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? I started asking, what can I do about this? Instead of waiting for circumstances to change, I started changing my approach. The people who seem to be getting ahead in life, they've mastered this mindset. They don't waste energy wishing things were different. They use that energy to make things different. Start small. If you've been putting off a goal because you're not ready, take one tiny step today. If you've been making excuses, challenge yourself to find one action that you can take. You don't need to transform your entire life overnight, although that would be wonderful. You just need to start making slightly better decisions, one day at a time. So there you have it, the real reasons why it might seem like everyone else is getting ahead while you are standing still. When you look at it all laid out like this, doesn't it make you think this doesn't make sense? What doesn't make sense is that we compare our behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. What doesn't make sense is that we make excuses that only end up holding us back. What doesn't make sense is that we wait for some magical, ready moment that may never come. And what doesn't make sense is that we say we want something, but aren't willing to make the sacrifices to get it. And it really doesn't make sense that we forget how much power we actually have. The good news is that once you recognize these patterns, you can start to break free from them. I'm not promising that everything will suddenly become easy. Growth rarely is. But when you stop getting in your own way, possibilities open up that you couldn't see before. So if you've been watching life from the sidelines, wondering why everyone else seems to be moving ahead, it's time to join them. Not next week, not when you feel ready, not when conditions are perfect, right now. Because the truth is, you're just as capable as anyone else of creating the life you want. You just need to get out of your own way. So if this video resonated with you, hit the like button and subscribe. And if you want more content like this, click on the 2 videos on the screen above. And let me know in the comments below, which of these patterns do you recognize yourself in? And remember, the only person holding you back is you. And that's actually great. Because you can control. See you next time.